All right, so this is a real honor.
We appreciate you.
You're the first Muslim mayor of Dearborn, which is the most Muslim populated city in America, right? Do I get that right?
Largest concentration.
Largest concentration.
Of Arabs and
yeah.
Muslims.
So I've heard a lot about Dearborn. I've never been until yesterday. I guess like technically, Abdullah was the first person to take me out a little bit, and he got me acquainted with at least one of the gyms here. Yeah. I heard you work out as well.
Hype, yeah.
Yeah. Is that where you work out?
I work out several.
Okay.
There's a strong gym culture in Dearborn.
Yeah, no, I see that.
So Hype is one of it started out as a local nonprofit in our city. Obviously, you might have met Ali.
Yeah.
He did a phenomenal job with a 3-on-3 basketball tournament. Turned into the gym that you saw today. So between there and the city has a gym as well.
Okay. So, and we're here at Tahamas. And what kind of is this a Lebanese place?
Yeah, it's a Lebanese place. But
You're Lebanese.
I'm Lebanese. Yeah, 100%. Tahamas is it's actually a land between Saudi Arabia and Yemen. But the owner, who's not here, is actually on vacation for the first time. Makes the best shawarma in my perspective. So this is my favorite restaurant in the city.
All right. I mean, I'm gonna be the judge of that. Let's see.
I know you got Dearborn Meat Market yesterday.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah,
it was great.
Too.
Yeah,
but I think you missed out on the experience of Dearborn Meat Market.
Yeah. Well, they were doing. They were busy. They were doing catering. Yeah. So we didn't get to experience it fully. Yeah. But I'm very stoked. So you got a bunch of stuff that you have lined up for us to show us around.
Yeah.
And we'll get a little bit of shawarma first, and then we're just walk around, right? That's what we're doing.
We'll go around. We'll take you to some of the spots, show you maybe a side that people don't often speak about when they talk about Dearborn.
Yeah.
Obviously, coffee culture is big here too. I know they lined you up for some Yemeni coffee. I heard you talk about it as well.
I had some this morning. Mocha, I think is the place.
Okay. We got like 46 independent shops in Dearborn.
That's not surprising.
Yeah, and
Yemeni people love. I was joking about this yesterday, but they love opening up coffee shops right next to one another, and they're always slammed. They're always packed.
It works. Where in other cities you might see bars opening up back to back to back. For us, the Sahara scene, the night scene is very casual conversation.
Yeah. They got Diet Pepsi in there or no?
I got Diet Coke.
Nah, no Diet Coke. It's BDS.
Diet Pepsi. There you go.
All right, I'll have a Diet Pepsi. Thank you. You don't drink Coke?
I don't drink pop. Period.
You don't drink pop?
No. Yeah. I don't do caffeine.
Oh, you don't do any caffeine?
No. I don't do coffee.
Wait, why?
I just never got there. I do periodic tea every once in a while. Otherwise, it's water, sparkling water, and that's pretty much it.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
no caffeine
juice.
is wild.
Yeah.
It's like health reasons too, or no?
Never. Yeah, I undergrad used to do the Monster energy drinks and such.
Okay,
gave that all up at like 20. And haven't touched it since.
Okay. All right. So you're the second. Who's the youngest mayor?
Mayor Guido. Mayor Guido, Italian mayor. He got elected in '87. He was younger than me by about 3 months. Both got elected around 31.
Okay. So wait, how old are you now?
35.
You're 35 and you got elected when you were
31.
31. Okay. So Zoran is not even going to be younger than you technically. I mean, he's not.
How old is he?
I mean, he's my age. He's 33, 34.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but city of 9 million is quite a different feat.
Well, I mean, you got 109,000. 109,000. See, I got some Dearborn facts.
It is the greatest city. I have to say that.
Dearborn is?
As much as
I feel like you're a little biased.
Obviously.
I feel like you're
For good reason.
Yeah. So you were born and raised here?
Born and raised here. My mother came here in the early 70s. She was about 4 when she migrated over with her family. My father came in the early 80s. They met here, and the rest is history, as they say. Second oldest of 5 children.
How was living here like post 9/11, growing up?
This was
a heavily surveilled environment, right?
It was, yeah. Especially if you think about back then, there was the NSEERS program, the National Security Entry Exit Registration. This was the first Muslim registry that was actually established.
Yeah.
Obama finally did away with it at the end of his second term.
Yeah.
But a lot of folk from the city went down to downtown Detroit to register themselves. Highly surveilled, and the federal government said Dearborn was one of the most surveilled cities in all of America.
Yeah.
Places of worship, schools, so on and so forth. And so for us, though, Dearborn is somewhat of a bubble where we looked out for one another, regardless of whether you were Arab or non-Arab, as long as you were united by the fact that you're from Dearborn. So that was pretty beautiful to see.
I feel like, given that there's a big Muslim community here, one thing that I was talking to some people about was the fact that like many people in Michigan are just like they're aware of like Arab culture, Muslim culture in general. So there's like less discrimination towards that. I feel like in your travels, you've been around, I assume. Do you feel like it's less welcoming in other places, than it is in Michigan broadly?
I think it really depends. We're on Warren Avenue, which is a predominantly Arab American business corridor. You'll see a lot of businesses here with signage in both English and Arabic. We used to host what was called the Arab American Festival. 250,000 people would come out for a weekend. It was canceled about 15 years ago. And the reason was, now the street is a public right-of-way. There were these protesters that came with pigs' heads on spears and with signs that said, we've dipped our bullets in pig's blood, so when we shoot you, you go to Jahannam, you go to hell.
Yeah.
And they got pelted with water bottles.
Which, by the way,
yeah.
That's not how that works.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
They ended up getting pelted by water bottles by a bunch of the youth. Escorted out of the street and out of the festival. They filed a lawsuit and they won. And as a result, the city canceled the festival. And
That's crazy.
It's been gone for quite some time. So racism shows its face in various forms. That's the direct form.
And they were Michiganders?
These were, I can't speak to who they were, if they came from out of town or not.
Okay. I mean, that's crazy experience. Like you were young when that was happening.
Yeah, I was a teenager. But
Yeah.
even then, a lot of us post 9/11, whenever we left the city as teenagers, we gave ourselves nicknames. I wasn't shouting, Abdullah in some other cities. And even at 16, went to a neighboring city. They had a city festival. We got surrounded by like 20 guys, shouting dumb stuff like, "We don't want that Middle Eastern oil. We want that British petroleum." Flicking cigarettes at us. So any type of racism, we pretty much experienced it. But I think we've far moved past those days.
Yeah. Well.
To some capacity.
I feel like that's what I thought too.
So it was here in different ways.
When Mehmet Oz was running against Fetterman as a Republican, and he's a Muslim dude, right? I mean, he's Turkish. I thought, oh wow, this is like a true change of attitude in America in terms of like Islamophobia. But it seems like a lot of those attitudes were just kind of, they weren't necessarily left behind. They weren't completely eradicated. They were just like waiting for an opportunity to strike. Because I feel like post October 7, that at least in my experience, I've seen that repackage Islamophobia pretty aggressively.
Oh, absolutely. And for some reason, when it's racism against Muslim people, it's a phobia, as opposed to something else. I can tell you in 2021, when we ran for office, in the general election, ran against a non-Arab, non-Muslim. His slogan was that he would be the mayor for all of Dearborn.
Oh yeah.
And that somehow, indirectly speaking to the fact that I could not be a mayor for all of Dearborn.
Yeah, you were there just for the Arabs,
Correct.
just for the Muslims.
Correct. And people forget Dearborn is 60% minority, so 55% Arab American, 5% Black, Hispanic, 40% white. So very diverse city.
So let's talk about the history of Dearborn, Michigan, because I didn't even know this until yesterday. But apparently, it was originally Henry Ford that brought in a big chunk of the Arab population here. Is that correct?
There was a big recruitment effort with some of the Lebanese communities decades ago. There was actually a Turfi family that was big on bringing Lebanese folk. They were a Lebanese family, brought a lot of folk from Lebanon here for a job in the line. My grandfather, when he came in '74, came in pursuit of a job.
So it wasn't Henry Ford. It was like after that. It was
Henry Ford working with folks in the community at the time who've been here for a long time.
Okay.
And then people got a job either in the auto itself or an indirect job in the autos. When my dad came in the '80s, he was largely a truck driver, delivering steel for a company, for an auto adjacent company.
Was he a union member?
My father was not at the time.
But I assume a lot of people that do work in the factories, they are like prominent and a part of the UAW.
Absolutely. The largest local is actually Local 600 in the south end of Dearborn.
Yeah, and that's that's comprised of a diverse group of people, and not just like because. The thing is, like a lot of people think like unions. When you think of like hard hat wearing union guys, the idea is like white coal miners in West Virginia. People don't realize that unions are very diverse. I mean, America is a very diverse country, right? So like, of course, unions that are going to reflect unions are of course going to reflect that diversity as well. And I'm just saying this to dispel the notion that like for the most part unions are just like comprised of white people. As a matter matter of fact, there's a higher union participation in the black community than the white community, amongst the white working class as opposed to the black working class.
Yeah. No, you have a large number of Arab Americans who are union members or union retirees within our city. My uncles, many of my cousins, many friends currently active within the UAW.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful to see. These are a lot of the jobs that put food on the table for so many of us. And as you know, for our communities, chain migration is a big thing, family migration is a big thing. Once you're able to provide for one family, we start bringing folk over. And in Dearborn, what you find
you're going to scare the white folk listening. They're going to be like, oh, I knew it.
What you find is a lot of multi-generational households, so 3 generations living in one home to all support one another.
Yeah. Someone said, ask me about the racist Mayor Hammoud, who in the 70s brought Arabs to East Dearborn to use the border between Detroit and the whites in West Dearborn. Dearborn was a sundown town. Fucked history. Is that true?
Yeah, Dearborn was a sundown town. In fact, Hubbard at the time coined the term called keep Dearborn clean. Essentially meant keep it white. There were many deeds back in the day that said you're not allowed to sell your home to a black family. And Hubbard was a notorious segregationist and a big bigot. We actually took down, there was a Hubbard Manor West and East, which were senior buildings. We took his name off those buildings and replaced them with 2 people who deserve to be recognized. Not without disagreement from many of folk today. In fact, Tireman Road, which used to serve basically as a border between Dearborn and Detroit, used to have its own form of border patrol, where you had police along that border stopping anybody that came across from Detroit to Dearborn.
So like the Klan almost.
It's almost, it was like a border patrol unit.
Wow.
We actually, this is our 4th year since I've come into office, we're actually hosting a block party on that street, jointly between Dearborn and Detroit. This is the 4th year that we've done it, to celebrate the fact that Dearborn is the city with the longest border with the city of Detroit, and we understand that when Detroit thrives, so does Dearborn. And so we're really proud of that.
What's your favorite aspect of growing up here? Like something that people don't know about Dearborn?
Honestly, it's like the garage scene. For many of us, the garage is not a place where we park our cars. It's the place where you have the hangout. And so, sitting with your family, with your relatives in the summer months, cup of tea, watermelon, Arabic desserts, you're really enjoying yourself. That's the atmosphere. That's the Dearborn that most folks don't know.
You got a sweet tooth?
Chocolate and cheesecake are my vices.
Good, me too. I got a sweet tooth.
There's a pizza shop here that actually uses the pizza oven to make one of the best Lebanese desserts. What's
the Lebanese dessert you're talking about?
Marshouche.
What?
Marshouche.
Marshouche.
Or asmaliya.
Okay, I have no idea what that is.
It's so good.
I don't know what the Turkish equivalent of that is. Maybe there isn't one.
It's kind of like phyllo dough wrapped with cheese. The Turkish desserts, there's a lot of those kinds of desserts.
We do have a lot of that for sure.
We got a few Turkish restaurants opening up now. I think we're at 3 or 4.
Just you wait.
How authentic.
Just you wait before. Turkish people, when they come out to America, they won't say that they're like a Turkish restaurant. They'll either say they're Lebanese, or they'll even with like yogurt, they'll be like, it's Greek yogurt.
Yeah. So these have Turkish in their name. So Galata is the first one that opened up.
Galata.
Yeah. And they opened up a second location in Sterling Heights. Turkish Village is the other restaurant.
Oh wow. Okay.
I forget the name of the dessert shop. It's a unique Turkish brand that they brought over.
Unique Turkish bread that they brought.
Brand. It's a brand of ice cream.
Oh, is it modo?
I
could be,
wish I could tell
because Turkish ice cream is different. Like the ones that do the tricksters, the guys on the street that are like, oh, you want it? Nope, you can't have it. Like that is that's a specific type of ice cream that's like done that has like almost like a mastic gum-like feature to it. It's very it's different.
What have you enjoyed about it so far?
So far, the food's great. The people are dope. I went to Hamtramck yesterday for the Detroit City Football Club. Yeah, that was amazing. It felt like I just like went into a different, like a pocket universe where all of a sudden it's just like because I grew up in Turkey watching American TV, and I had this mindset that like all these different towns in this country have like unique community organizing and community events that they all participate in, from all the children to down to the adults and the seniors. And I've yet to see that in like any of the big cities, obviously, because there's not a lot of that kind of community. There's not a big like communal aspect to living in Los Angeles or even in places like New Jersey. Whereas like that felt like Friday Night Lights. I don't know if you watched that before. And that was really cool. It was really cool to give people something to do and give people an event, an organized event that they can all partake in. I think that's really important for the neighborhood. And obviously, like a lot of enclaves, a lot of places where there are a lot of migrants, initially, like, you know, first generation, second generation migrant populations, they already do that. But, you know, it's cool to see it in a diverse environment like that. And I feel like Dearborn, I suspect, has something like that too.
100,000 people, but it's got that small town feel.
Yeah.
Everything from grocery shopping. You can't go anywhere without anybody knowing who your parents are, your grandparents are, your aunts, your uncles.
Yeah, I played against your cousin. Yesterday,
yeah.
I played basketball against your cousin. He's not bad. He's
Yeah.
pretty good. I think he's like 14, 15, 16, I don't know.
It's possible.
Yeah.
It's very possible.
Wait, how many cousins you got?
A lot. My parents had 5 children, and that was one of the smallest amongst the siblings. Each one of 7 or 8 siblings.
Okay.
So-
That makes sense.
We got to keep that going the next generation.
Yeah. Acting like New Jersey doesn't have towns with vibrant communities is crazy. Everybody gets in their feelings. Frogan says, my dad has 17 brothers and sisters. That's crazy.
Rashida's one of 14.
Wow.
She's the oldest.
That's a lot.
Yeah. I grew up with many of her brothers.
Yeah. Everybody knows everybody here.
Yeah.
I like that. That's very cool.
It's the cool part.
Yeah.
We look out for one another, whether you're related by blood or not.
Even the DCFC guy, like we were talking to the CEO.
Sean Mann.
Yeah, and he's like, oh yeah, I was in DC. I was working in DC with Rashida before she went to Congress.
Yeah.
You know, like everybody knows each other, and it's not like Hamtramck's not small, you know, and neither is Dearborn. I mean, 109,000 is a lot of people.
Hamtramck is small. Hamtramck's 2 square miles.
Oh, but how many people live in
I
Hamtramck?
think like 15,000.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Hamtramck is small, but Dearborn isn't small
Yeah,
in
yeah, correct.
comparison. But it feels like everyone in this area is like interconnected in some way, which I think is cool.
I think the unique part, I mean, people talk about Dearborn and food, which absolutely, I think we're the cuisine capital. But I think what's most important is the story of the people behind the food. Whether it's Medhat and Bilal and Sayyid Ali and Haji Maryam who make up the food here. At Dearborn Meat Market, it was Haji Hassan and his son Abe who run the shop there, Abu Mahdi on the grill. It's those figures and it's that environment, it's this atmosphere that when you get into, that you can't replicate. No matter how good the shawarma it might be elsewhere, the atmosphere is what you can't replicate.
I know, but the shawarma is important.
The shawarma is important.
We're about to see.
Listen.
We're about to see. I don't know if you do this as well, but like I grew up in Turkey, so like I always compare it to like the Turkish version of the same type of food. I was talking with Abdullah Syed yesterday about this, like where there's always, you can tell like the differences between like the Lebanese version, like which is shawarma, versus like the Turkish version of donat. But the one type of cuisine from that same area that I don't prefer is Greek.
Okay.
That's the one.
You guys have good basturma.
Oh yeah, we
Especially
do.
in Cappadocia.
Yeah, so you've been to Turkey.
been, yeah.
Yeah, Cappadocia is
Your
beautiful.
basturma was really good.
All right, we'll see. Turkish national? I'm not a Turkish nationalist. Okay, that's crazy. Anyway.
So you did how many years in Turkey before you came over?
Oh, I grew up in Turkey, 18.
Okay. Oh wow, okay.
Yeah,
Fully.
I came to America at the age of 18 to come to college here. I went to University of Miami and then Rutgers in New Jersey.
Okay.
And then as soon as I was done with college, immediately came to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So, and that's where I've lived ever since. But
You enjoy it?
yeah, I mean, I love LA. It's got a lot of problems for
Yeah.
sure, but it's nice. It's not bad. Could be better.
It's not Dearborn, but it's okay.
Yeah, we'll see. Well,
You
I'm about
blend in
to.
here. I think at some point you can walk around, people start talking Arabic to you.
Yeah. Okay. I don't speak Arabic.
I know.
I speak Turkish, but you know, they don't do
make
that.
the assumption.
They don't do that in LA. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, luckily there's a big Armenian population in LA, so like
Yeah.
there is good like Turkish adjacent food. So I'm not left with that burning desire in most circumstances. Okay, now my mouth is watering. Now I'm excited. I'm stoked.
Take you by St. Alphonsus Church. Just driving up right by it. St. Alphonsus Church.
We're gonna see the big mosque.
We'll go to Altar Road. It's the country's largest mosque, and it's neighbored by 3 churches actually.
Yeah.
Which is what's beautiful about it. But St. Alphonsus Church, they knocked down their old school and they built out like a green space. And in talking with the priest at that church, they just put a statue of the Lady of Fatima in the corner. the Virgin Mary. And when I talked to him about the thought process behind it, he said, we know that to the Muslim community and the Christian community of her relevance and her value. So that's the statue that they went with to that corner, which is beautiful. Altar Road will give you the Islamic Center of America, which is, I think, the country's largest mosque. My uncle is actually the imam at that mosque.
Oh, wow.
And then you got the Armenian church and 2 other churches beside it as well.
That's cool. Yeah, that's like, when you look up Dearborn, that's the thing that comes up.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know. I feel like when they post that, it's to scare off
of course.
white Americans to be like, this is Dearborn.
Yeah.
Look at this big mosque.
But they never talk about what's beside the mosque.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I'd love for you to see. Is like we share the same parking lot. We work together whenever there's days of service. It's really beautiful.
Also, people don't understand that, like, but Muslims respect the other Abrahamic religions. Like the prophets are prophets as well.
Correct.
Yeah. The only difference is not like, from our understanding, it's not Jesus is not the Son of God.
Correct.
But still an important prophet.
Correct.
But people don't know that. Tell the mayor you're a haram Muslim before he invites you to Jummah. Okay, well, we can't do Jummah. It's Saturday, I think, or Sunday. Yeah, there's no Jummah on Sunday, Chad. Jummah means like literally Friday. I am a haram Muslim. I'm sorry to report.
I don't judge.
Well, I'm Turkish. You probably knew that already. That's how us Turks be. That's how we are. Turks will be like no pork, but then everything else is fine.
2 points for like almost being culturally competent.
Yeah.
Understanding that there is a Jummah, but not knowing that it's on Fridays.
Yeah. Chatter almost got it. Yeah.
Thank you.
What do we got here? We got the ketchup.
Nah. Straws, no. Do you want a straw?
No, I'm good. All right. What do we got here?
Beef, chicken, and beef.
Oh, you got 2 beefs and 1 chicken to share.
We're gonna split the chicken.
Woo! Okay, this is already very compact. I like it. Oh, that's good. Look at that. In my experience, a lot of places like this try to suit their food to like the taste buds of like people living in America. This doesn't do that, but it's good. It's authentic.
These are the same shawarma for as long as it's been open. Does not change with the time, which I appreciate. When you got it right, you got it right. So what drove you to start streaming?
I was on the Young Turks, and I was already doing political commentary, but I wanted to have my own thing because like I just didn't want to be constantly working for somebody else. And I wanted to have a community and also like ownership over my own product.
Yeah.
So
I get that.
I was already playing video games. I was playing Fortnite at the time. So I said, why not strap on a PlayStation camera onto the PlayStation and start going live while I'm playing these games and go live on Twitch. The other reason was I wanted to get better off the cuff because everything I had done before, it was all pre-scripted. I would write out the scripts, I'd pull elements and like produce it myself, but I wasn't very good off the cuff. And I needed to get better at it. So I was like, if I can be entertaining while I'm streaming and playing a video game, I can probably easily talk about these issues when I'm not playing a video game, right? So it was more so for training. And then I also I was in these spaces, like I played video games, I was into gaming anyway. And I felt like there wasn't any leftist voices that were representative of the diversity of opinion within the gamer space in general. Because like every visible commentary person in that side, on that field, was like very right wing. And it seemingly worked. What made you want to be mayor?
I failed at being a doctor.
Couldn't get into medical school?
Got waitlisted 3 years straight. I'm an epidemiologist by trade. So, how many Abduls are you going to meet that are epidemiologists?
I know one.
Yeah. I was working in healthcare for many years. State representative opened up at the time. Some folk reached out asking if I'd give it a look. Didn't really care for it much. I had many more conversations. I decided, you know what, why not? I kind of want to exit the healthcare space. Would love the opportunity to get back. And we put our name in the hat. This was January 2016. And by God's grace, we're successful in that campaign. 5 years in the state. I was prepping myself to probably go back to the nonprofit sector or something. Our mayor announced that he's not running for re-election. I'm only the 7th mayor in 100 years.
Wow.
So we have long reigning mayors in the city of Dearborn.
Why wasn't you running for again?
He was very ill.
Oh.
He passed away last year, earlier this year. And so I put my name in that race as well. Love the city of Dearborn. And there's a packed primary, a tough race, but again, by God's grace, we're able to make it through. And here we are a few years later. Re-election's in 2 months. So.
Seems like people like you. Right?
Overall, I'd like to think so. But thus is the nature of politics. I mean, you assume office with 40% or 45% having voted against you. And so the goal is not to always have 100% support, but hopefully 100% understanding for the decisions that you're making. That's what I try to aim for.
What are some of the biggest issues facing people in Dearborn right now, by your estimation?
Flooding is something that we suffer from when we have heavy storms, and obviously with climate change and acceleration of climate change. So back in 21, the year of the election, actually in the middle of the primary, we had a 7-inch rainstorm in 24 hours. 2/3 of all the homes in Dearborn flooded.
Wow.
So a little over 20,000 homes had water inside of them. And, so flooding is a big concern. That's a long-term problem, hundreds of millions of dollars to fix, but we're working towards that. Air quality is a big issue. And so in the south end of our city, it's the least affluent, it's the most industrialized. Asthma rates are 2 to 4 times the average in the state of Michigan. And so just by being born in that neighborhood, your likelihood of asthma skyrockets. We hold corporate polluters accountable heavily. We've shut down a few and we go to court often with them. And then just, basic quality of life issues. For me, everything is a public health issue. Whether it's small mom and pop shop thriving, reinvesting in the corridors that haven't been invested in. We just wrapped up a $30 million investment in our park systems.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I'm a big public parks guy. I love the parks. It's one of my I feel like it's one of the favorite things that one of my daily activities is to go to the public parks in LA, all around Los Angeles.
I became a father 30 days before I became mayor. And so to me that was like a wholly different vantage point. Perspective on life. Like, what do you do with your children in Michigan? We don't got Cali weather. So what are you doing in the winter months and what are you doing in the summer months? And, my wife took me around every park across southeast Michigan to basically say, why doesn't Dearborn have parks like this? Or a STEM center like this? And so all of that's in the works or has now been completed, which is pretty cool.
Would you say that was that's your most lasting impact so far, aside from tackling corporate polluters, is the parks and recreation structure?
That one, absolutely. We built, for example, the first fully inclusive playscapes for children of all abilities in the city. We placed 3 of them across the city so that no family is more than a 10-minute drive of one of these playscapes. And the goal is to cut that down to 5 minutes, which we'll hopefully do in the next 2 years. So that's big. We had 5 community pools, 3 of which hadn't been remodeled since the 50s and 60s. We remodeled all 3 of those pools, and we waived the pool admission fee. So any kids under the age of 13, pool access is free because money shouldn't be a barrier during the summer.
Oh yeah.
So doing things like that, I think, has been the greatest impact. We got a library 2 blocks from Tahamas. Had very little foot traffic. Yet there's the only library in the east end of the city, a city where majority of households English is not the native language spoken inside the home. We're spending $4 million and transforming it into a STEM center, in addition to a library, to bring more hands-on activities and such to the city. So those are the types of investments that I think have generational impacts.
When you say STEM center, what do you mean, for those of you who might not know?
So it's actually STEAM, so science, tech, engineering, arts, and math. And so there will be a lot of hands-on activities. There'll be science labs. We'll have makerspace, where we'll have daily activities programmed by our librarians. You have the playscapes and the like. More than just walking into your traditional library, picking up a book, and having to read silently. It's about interacting with other children, interacting with your parents or your guardians, interacting as a community, especially in having programming that's designed along those skill sets, along those fields.
Switching gears into politics a little bit. I wanted to ask you, and I'm sure I've seen you address this on multiple occasions, but in the past election cycle, it seems like the Democrats actively avoided talking about a major issue. And their participation in Israel's genocide of the Palestinian population. And this actually caused dramatic swings in the voter population, going from either voting for the Democrats reliably and consistently in a place like Dearborn to not voting at all, or even sometimes voting for Donald Trump. Do you feel like this was a failure within the Democratic Party? And are the Democrats going to address this issue at all? Have you talked to other people in the party?
It absolutely was a failure. And it was a failure of the candidates who were unwilling to draw a line at genocide. And I think for many of us in the Dearborn community, I got a picture of my grandfather on the cover of a magazine in 1989 in the paper, marching for a free Palestine in 1989. So for many of us in Dearborn, there's something that's passed down generationally, an issue that has impacted so many of us. My parents are Lebanese, but my grandparents have lived under occupation, Israeli occupation in south of Lebanon. Many families here did live under occupation, and they still have their booklets where the IDF soldiers had the stamp granting them approval to walk freely about in their own village. And so I think people underestimated the impact of what was unfolding overseas, no matter how loud we tried screaming from the rooftops. Obviously with the uncommitted movement that launched in the primary, signaling that this is much larger than you think. Do I think the Democrats got it together now? I don't. I absolutely don't think so. I think they're headed towards that direction. I have no idea. I think it is going to be a litmus test come the 2026 election in Michigan, but more importantly, come the presidential in 28.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a defining question of where do you stand on the issue of the genocide, on Gaza. The populace has shifted. Every poll has demonstrated that the populace has shifted, but the party has not.
And the population shifting is not new. Mm-hmm. It is new in the grand scheme of things, like you said, since the 80s onward, but we knew that the population attitude was shifting in the election.
Correct.
And Democrats' inability to address that shift, or overall refusal to even acknowledge that shift, has been costly in this election, and not just for Dearborn, but Michigan broadly, everywhere else. And I feel like, I feel as though, even from the consultants I spoke to, and people who are in the know, like even the Pod Save America guys, for example, who certainly have become much more radical in the aftermath of this election on this issue, and were very critical some of them were very critical of Israel's actions even with the Biden administration, but not to this degree.
Yeah.
Like when I talked to them before the election, when I interviewed with them, they would say like, oh, there's a lot of people who care about this, but from the Israeli perspective. And I don't think that was the case at all. I think it's not just Muslims and Arabs, but it was all people of conscience.
Correct.
that looked at this and saw right from wrong, and wanted the party to reflect their values. Reflect the values that we assume the Democrats are supposed to have.
Well, obviously, progressive except Palestine is a term that we know.
Yeah, of course.
Many of those who I served with in Lansing, who are elected officials today, but the 100,000 people that voted uncommitted in the presidential primary in Michigan were not just Arab and Muslims, to your point. It was a multi-generational, multi-ethnic coalition that was built saying that these are our universal values that should be applied across. It's a very personal issue. I can't emphasize that enough. My mother-in-law grew up in the refugee camps in Lebanon. I volunteered with United Nations Relief Work Agency 2014. I was in Jordan, working those refugee camps. Went back last year actually in Jordan, visited one of the major camps that hosted many of the families from Gaza. So this is something that we won't forget. I think the party anticipated that there's a lot of time between the primary and the general. That obviously failed. I think they think there's a lot of time between the last presidential election and the next presidential election. I don't think that's going to happen and manifest as they wish it would, because the atrocities are just getting worse. Just today we woke up to the fact that my mom's in Lebanon. She's there for a few weeks, and there's bombings in Lebanon today.
Yeah.
And Dearborn's home to a large Lebanese community, a large Yemeni community. Their prime minister was just killed yesterday. And so the atrocities are just numerous. And the first Lebanese American that was killed was a Dearborn resident.
Yeah. And it's with our involvement.
Correct.
Our American involvement.
Correct.
Like, we're American citizens, and our hard work.
Democrats' refusal to have a backbone is what allowed the likes of a Donald Trump to come into the city.
Yeah.
Now, full disclaimer, Donald Trump did not win a majority of the city of Dearborn. He took 40%. Did he win a plurality? Yes.
Yeah.
Certainly not a majority. 60% still said no to Donald Trump. And for a lot of folks, and we've pulled on this, for a lot of folks it was just out of disdain to the Democrats. Because if you go down ballot, Trump took about 40%. In the pro-genocide Democrats didn't get more than 40%.
Yeah.
A lot of the down ballot candidates, like Rashida Tlaib, took 65%. Kyra Harris Bolden, Supreme Court Justice, took 65%. So the traditional Democrats still had about 65%. Al-Ghazda was the litmus test, and Al-Ghazda was the issue that people were going.
Yeah, it felt as though the dramatic swing was what was of utmost importance in terms of that analysis. Because like post 9/11 in the United States of America, I think Muslim communities have historically voted very progressive, and as a matter of fact, Muslim communities and they're polled on this kind of stuff, and as it pertains to social issues, are far more progressive overall than evangelical white Christians are. And of course, evangelical white Christians are not only are they overrepresented, but they're also obviously they're far more bigoted than the way people present Muslims in traditional media. And they have an outsized impact, and they are the ones who are actively pushing back on, women's bodily autonomy as it pertains to reproductive rights and things like that. As a Muslim American, as a mayor in a predominantly Muslim city, what do you have to say to people that misunderstand this dynamic, that think that Muslims are backwards, they're not socially progressive?
Yeah, it's no longer excusable to be ignorant. You can always ask. Ask a question. Ask a Muslim. I remember there was that comedy tour about ask your Muslim neighbor. And so I think people just presume. We actually have the National Arab American Museum here in the city of Dearborn. It's the only one of its kind. And there's a giant exhibit that shows how Arab Americans, Muslim Americans have been depicted on TV, whether it's cartoons or movies. And almost always exclusively were depicted as the villain.
Yeah.
And this had happened for decades, for generations.
All right,
imagine for generations.
I'm gonna cut you real quick. Because you're Lebanese. Yeah. You have to speak for your people here for a second.
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with the Lebanese people that are so right-wing? Did you know Jeanine Pirro is Lebanese? Judge Jeanine Pirro?
No.
She's Lebanese.
Yeah.
What's up with that? Talk to your people.
We don't claim everybody.
This is a gotcha. This is turning into a gotcha
I gotta
interview.
say, we don't claim it.
Yeah.
Do you want me to get into the Turkish folk or no?
No, they're all bad.
We don't claim everybody.
Yeah, there is a. It's really interesting. There are a lot of Lebanese people, Maronite Christians mostly, that are in positions of power and in Hollywood, but also in politics in general. And it's very interesting because they're very white passing.
Yeah.
I would say
a lot of it is. I'm very white passing.
Me too.
Yeah, a lot of it is rooted in Lebanon.
Yeah.
Politics back in Lebanon. A government constitution that is based in religion and sectarianism, right? The prime minister has to be Sunni Muslim. The parliament speaker has to be Shia Muslim. The president has to be Christian Maronite. And so this is how power is distributed across Lebanon. And so sometimes that trickles back home.
What do you have to say when people tell you, I'm not Arab, I'm Maronite Christian? It's different. I'm Phoenician.
I'm a big believer. I focus on myself. I teach my children to be proud of their culture and their roots and their history and never to shy away from it. They got very strong Arab names, which I'm proud of, very Muslim names. My name is Abdullah. I say it that way. I correct people who get it wrong. That's how you have to be. And authenticity will get you places.
I'm asking because I got a couple buddies like that are always like, I'm Phoenician. I'm Phoenician, brother.
No comment. No comment to this. Just to read a few more books.
They say, listen, we're not like those. We're not like those kinds of Lebanese.
Yeah. Come to Dearborn. Dearborn's a thriving city. So those kinds of Lebanese are doing just well.
Yeah. What do you say before you eat in Arabic? Do you say like Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim? Yeah. We say in Turkey we say afiyet olsun, like as in like a bon appetit.
Yeah.
Is there a Lebanese term for it as well, like a Lebanese culture? Like a bon appetit?
That's that French.
That's French. That's
Yeah,
French.
You know, people might tell you sahtan before you eat. or after
Sahtan?
you eat. Yeah.
What does that mean?
Kind of like good eats.
Oh, okay.
But I think for a lot of folk, if they're leading with their Muslim identity, they're going to start with Bismillah.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
I went to Hajj this year, so my hair's growing back.
Oh, you went to hot. Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Well, my brothers.
That's cool. Wait, what did you say?
Well, with my brothers.
Oh,
It's quite the experience.
mashallah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. All right. Should we
Wanna
get a
get
move
going to
on?
the next spot?
Yeah.